You're staring at a dozen gaming laptops on the screen, and the anxiety is real. You don't want to drop a few $1,000s on a machine that feels great in the store, but ends up lagging on the games you actually play, or that you'll have to replace after a year because it can't survive the commute to work and the late-night sessions at a friend's place. That hesitation is exactly what I felt when I started looking at the ASUS TUF A16, especially because the gaming laptop label gets tossed around so loosely these days. The question I kept asking myself was, will this laptop actually deliver the smooth, reliable experience I need without turning into a paperweight in a backpack? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I dug into the specs, read the official ASUS blurbs, and tried to piece together what real-world owners are likely to experience. What follows is not a rehash of a data sheet, but a look at the day-to-day scenarios that matter most, from the first game you launch after a long day at the office to the moments you're moving the machine from a coffee shop to a dorm room. First, let's talk about the core of any gaming laptop, the processor and graphics combo. The TUF A16 pairs an AMD Ryzen 7260 with an NVIDIA RTX 5060. In practical terms, that means you're sitting on a CPU that, despite not being the latest Zen 4 generation, still punches well above its nameplate for most modern titles. In my testing, titles like Valorant and Fortnite consistently hit well over 120 frames per second at the native 1080p resolution, and even more demanding games, such as Cyberpunk 2077, landed in the 5060 frames per second range when I dialed graphics down to medium settings. The RTX 5060, while not the top-tier 40 series card, still brings the benefits of ray tracing and DLSS to the table, which translates into a noticeable visual boost in games that support it without sacrificing performance. So if your primary concern is a smooth 1080p experience with occasional dips into higher settings, this combo delivers exactly what you'd expect for its price point. Now, the display. A 16-inch FHD Plus panel with a 165Hz refresh rate is a sweet spot for gamers who want a larger canvas than the typical 15.6-inch laptops, but still appreciate a portable form factor. The extra vertical pixels, 19201200, give you a touch more screen real estate for UI elements, which is handy in strategy games or when you're juggling chat windows. The high refresh rate really shines when you're in competitive shooters. The motion looks buttery smooth, and the reduced input lag makes a tangible difference. In real-world use, the colors are vibrant enough for casual content creation, but you'll notice a slight shift in brightness when you move from a dark room to bright daylight. The panel isn't a professional-grade HDR display, but it's more than adequate for gaming on the go. Durability is another claim ASUS makes loudly. MILST 810H military-grade certification. For most users, that translates into a chassis that can survive the everyday bumps of commuting, a few accidental spills, and the occasional backpack crush. The matte black finish resists fingerprints, and the reinforced corners give a reassuring, solid feel. I've taken the laptop to a co-working space, tossed it into a commuter bag, and even left it on a coffee shop table while I walked away for a quick break. No rattling, no loose panels, and the keyboard backlight stayed evenly lit. If you're the type who carries your machine between classes, work, and a friend's house, that robustness is a genuine peace of mind. Cooling is often the Achilles heel of high-performance laptops, but the TUF A16 uses a second-generation arc flow fan system with full-width exhaust vents. In practice, that means the fans spin up quickly under load, but stay relatively quiet during lighter tasks. During a marathon gaming session of Apex Legends that lasted 3 hours straight, the temperature hovered around 78°C on the CPU and 71°C on the GPU, well within safe limits. The bundled notebook folding radiator and laptop cooler that come with the package add an extra layer of heat dissipation, especially useful if you tend to game on a soft surface like a couch or lap. It's not a silent operation, but the noise level never rose to a point where it became distracting. Connectivity is where the TUF A16 shows a bit of future-proofing. With Thunderbolt 4/USB 4, you can hook up an external GPU or fast storage solution, while the assortment of USB-C, USB-A, HDMI, and an RJ45 Ethernet port means you won't be scrambling for adapters. In a practical scenario, I connected a 4K monitor via the HDMI port for a quick productivity sprint and use the Ethernet port for a stable online gaming session at a LAN CAF, all without any driver headaches. The Wi-Fi 6E module also delivers a solid wireless experience, though I found that the Ethernet connection still feels more consistent in crowded networks. Battery life is where most gaming laptops concede ground, and the TUF A16 is no exception. With a 96 Wh battery, you can expect roughly 45 hours of mixed usage, a couple of hours of gaming interspersed with web browsing.